And this is the reverse Pokemon right here. This is how you'll remember this one. So you can't catch them all. You can't keep everybody. You're going to have losses now. And if there's probably somebody that's like, "Well, I did my merge and we didn't lose anybody." You're wrong, Zach. And yes, I'm sure there are tertiary edge cases where somebody's perfect, and I'm wrong, and that's cool. But also, it's more than likely when you have this merge that you'll probably lose some people for whatever reason. Now, accept again the same that way that we accepted you're probably going to have team members have some conflict and you need to solve for it ahead of time. Come into the merge recognizing I probably have people on both teams that need to go. So let's use this as an opportunity to lose the right people and identify negative team members, cut them out, and be able to move on from there. So if you know I'm not going to be able to keep everybody, likely because of the nature of how mergers and acquisitions are, know that up front and start looking for who cares and who doesn't as you're going through the merge process. Now, part of that is the consistency. Now, treat everybody fairly so you can see who's pissed or who doesn't care because they really don't care, or, instead of creating other turmoil where people are frustrated for other reasons. And then again, have that high EQ management style in general, but at the time, so that you can be picking up on all of the different angles of what's happening. So I talk about something called the 20-70-10. I learned this in my Domino's days. This is a breakdown of percentages of types of team members. I talk about this a lot. I've talked about it before, but I'm going to run through it really quickly and then tie it back to why you can't keep them all and how you should approach this at this stage. 10% of people out there, or excuse me, 20% of people out there want to do a good job, like intrinsically motivated to show up. I want to make where I'm at better. I want to do well. I want this to be good. And they bring the energy, they bring the effort, and they're lights, for improvement. Those people you don't have to be up their ass because they want to do it themselves. 70% of people will go in the direction of the culture of the organization. And then 10% of people want to watch the world burn. 10% of people are toxic. They don't care about, they're not there to be productive. And maybe they were at one point and no longer are, but 10% of the people in your organization, varying, are they're not going to care. And that's okay, because if we know that ahead of time, we can address it and we can get those 10% out as often as possible. Now, I've illustrated that point to tie it back to why you can't keep them all and what you should be focused on here. If you know that those 20% of positive people are going to influence 70 more, or those 10% are going to influence 70 more, the positives and the negatives, you need to do everything you can to root out the positive and the negative, and keep the positive and root out the negative, so that those positives are influencing the rest of the 70%, so you're getting the culture that you want. Now, if you know you can't keep them all, and if you know during a merge and acquisition you might be losing some people, you can again really take some time to dig into this and identify who cares and who doesn't care, and use this as an opportunity to cut negative team members. Now, I want to tie this one more time back to the idea that it's important to utilize high emotional intelligent management in this stage so that you can really find out what's happening. And the reason that is not because necessarily team members do sometimes lie, but not necessarily because members of your team lie, but really because when individuals are going through conflict, they usually are expressing and feeling very genuine feelings that are unresolved because they're unresolved because of the conflict. So when they're venting or expressing conflict to you, they're expressing just their side of an unsolved conflict. Now, they may have it exactly right, and they may tell it to you exactly right because they have good awareness, self awareness, or awareness of others, but that won't always be the case. So, what you need to do with that high level emotional intelligent management style during these mergers to define who is the negative team members, who are the negative team members, is have the conversations with everybody so you can get the full 360-degree picture of what really happened, happens, is happening, happened with the process, happened with the argument, is happening with systems, is being executed, so that you can make the right decision when you choose to move on from somebody within your organization. You can't keep them all. You might be able to circumstantially. You likely won't. So if you have to lose people, lose the 10 percenters that are not helping anyway.